First Samuel. Then Samuel died. Samuel will go. Eh? I'm coming. Okay, go to verse 2. Samuel to come verse alone. From verse 2. Okay, yeah. Now there was a man in Maon whose business was in Carmel. Business was in Carmel. And the man was very rich. Do you know why I say the man was rich? But when you now see very rich, what do they call very in English? Come what? Very. The word very. What's it in English? The word very. The man was very rich. That adjective was put there to further qualify, to further emphasize, to further establish what the Bible is saying about the man. Very rich. He had 3,000 sheep. 3,000 sheep. And 1,000 goats. And he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Verse 3. The name of the man was Nabal. And the name of his wife, Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and beautiful appearance. Hear this. It's not good enough to be of beautiful appearance and lack understanding. This woman has the two. Beautiful understanding and good appearance. Some people only have fashion sense. They don't have common sense. It's good to have the two together. Fashion sense and common sense. Abigail had the two together. But look at the man. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó sí yàn. Abigail is yàn. Ẹ̀yin single ẹ̀ ṣàmì. Àwọn married kọ̀ ló ládùúrà yẹn. Wọ́n yàn kankan mọ́ tí wọ́n ti yàn tí wọ́n yàn. But the man was harsh and evil in his doings. He was of the house of Caleb. Gbọ́ mi, èèyàn lè ti ilé rẹ̀ jáde kó má yàn rẹ̀. Do you know Caleb? You remember Caleb? Joshua and Caleb? Nabal came out of the house of Caleb. But he didn't take good virtue from that house. Ọ̀tọ̀ ni kan bí yàn rẹ̀, ọ̀tọ̀ ni kéèyàn yàn rẹ̀. He came out of the house of Caleb. When David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep, verse 5, David sent 10 young men, and David said to the young men, go up to Carmel, go to Nabal and greet him in my name. In my name. Don't greet him in your name. So that he will know that I sent you. Next verse. And thus you shall say to him who lives in prosperity. Neighbor lives in prosperity. Peace be to you. Peace to your house. And peace to all that you have. Let me paraphrase that area. Then we will move to verse 25 and verse 23. David needed assistance from neighbor. David needed support from neighbor. Oh, someone will say, as great as David was there a time he needed somebody's assistance? Several times. He started with his relationship with Jonathan. If David was not good in maintaining relationship, King Saul would have killed David long ago. But David had a good relationship with Jonathan, and Jonathan was ready to stake his life for the sake of his friend. Relationship. So David needed support. Himself and his men, they've been in the wilderness for months. They ran out of food. They ran out of materials. Why they were in the wilderness? Hear this. David did not make a request that was not in good order. Why they were in the wilderness? If you read that passage very well, David had shielded the sheep of Nabal from being attacked. David and his men. They have also protected the interest of Nabal, even without Nabal knowing. But his boys, his men, must have told him several times, David and his men, they really help us today. They really fought for us today. They defended us today without collecting a dime. Hear this. Be kind and be good to those you meet on your way to the top. You will still need their support, their encouragement for you to remain there. I often say this. The prayer, the effort, the labor, the diligence that will take you to the throne is not as strong, is not as big as the one that will keep you on the throne. Because once you get to the throne, you become exposed, you become opened to everybody. The man that is on the ground is seen by limited people. But the one that is on the stage, the one that is on the throne, that's why what an ordinary man will do, those who sit in places of authority, when they do it, the whole world will hear about it. Look at what happened in the last 1-2 weeks. In the last 1-2 weeks in UK, a footballer asked cats. He was rearing cats. Owó ẹ̀ ló fi ra cat o. Ó fún wọn lóúnjẹ o. Cats. Cats. Àwa kan náà wá bí tẹ́yìn sí olóńgbò ńlé. Cats. And only God knows what happened. Bí cat jẹ búrẹ́dì ẹ̀ ni o. Bí cat da tí ẹ̀ nù ni o. I didn't know the story, what the cat did. But he slapped the cat and he kicked the cat. Slapped the cat, kicked the cat. And people rose up against him. They say he has committed a crime. His club fined him £250,000 as a fine for slapping cat, for kicking a cat. One guy said, I'm a cat don't bell. Now it's possible many people in UK also kicked and slapped cats, but nobody came after them because they are not up there. They are not up there. They are not in the center of eyes. Some international companies that this guy, this footballer, was their ambassador or one of the people that used to brand their something, they withdrew, they canceled their contract with him. Contract that runs into hundreds of thousands of naira. They canceled it. And they said they will still try him again because he kicked a cat and he slapped a cat. Now, what do I bring out of that? The higher you go in life, the more careful you have to become. The higher you go in life, because many more people are seeing you. Some of us here, you can be going on your street and be eating corn during corn season. Either Sise, Abitita, Abina. But if Pastor Wale down see is walking on the street and I'm eating corn, is there anything wrong that I'm eating corn? No. But because of the office I occupy. Do you know everything I do, the way I live my life, I'm conscious of you. So that people will not say, we saw your pastor. We saw your pastor. So I'm not only living my life for myself, I'm also living my life for you. So that you will not be rebuked or insulted by virtue of my own shortcomings. Kí ló ń sọ tẹ? Ó jágbàdo títì, ó máa ń jẹ́ dáadáa bí? Àrí pásọ ẹni tó jágbàdo títì. And hear this, pẹ̀lú nǹkan táyé ti dà ní ìsìn. Wọ́n á rìkọ́dì ẹ̀ ni. Wọ́n ti jù sórí social. One has to be very careful these days. 15, 20, 30 years ago, nothing of such. You will need some concrete evidence. But now, without your permission, there are people who don't want you to stay long on the throne. So you've got to be very, very careful. So David sent message to neighbor, give me this. We need this. In fact, he told them, the approach was with humility. Even though he was already anointed as a king, he didn't brag, he didn't lord it over neighbor. But the Bible says, neighbor said, who is David? Who is David? What's my problem that somebody ran away from his master? He now has no food to eat. David. He insulted David. And the Bible says his men returned back. Let's go to verse 23. Verse 23. 23. Okay, before we get to that, those people go back to David and they told him what happened. Wọ́n bú ọ̀gá ẹ̀, wọ́n sọ pé orí ọ̀gá ẹ̀ ò pé, tó bá dọ́dọ̀ ọ̀gá ẹ̀, kí ni wàá sọ? Ọ̀gá wọn lè ti ya wèrè. No, trust people now. That's you see, they will tell the master what the person did not say. Kíjà yẹn lele gan. So the Bible says David became angry. David was boiling. The Bible says David assembled 300 soldiers. He was angry. He was boiling because the man acted foolishly. Then the Bible says, one of the servants of neighbor ran to his wife. Ran to his wife. And said, Ma, Oga wati kan. Our master is in trouble. Do you know one of the attributes of neighbor? Nobody dare talk to him. When you get to read that 1 Samuel 25 very well, from beginning to the end. Nobody dare talks to him. He doesn't listen to anybody. He knows it all. So they reported the matter to Abigail that David is going to deal with our master. Bible says Abigail. No, they told him David requested for this, more than what David requested for. Abigail assembled everything. And she went out to go and meet David. Let's go back to verse 23. Now, when Abigail saw David, she dismounted quickly from the donkey, fell on her face before David, and bowed down to the ground. David was on a mission to go and kill her husband, to go and destroy her husband, to go and deal with her husband. But for that moment, a woman who was wise, the wife who demonstrated wisdom, preserved the life of her husband. If danger is coming the way of your husband and you can't stop it as a woman, you are failed. Vice versa. If danger is coming the way of your wife